guys, and welcome to this week's video. I'm sorry I look like a complete and utter mess, but I'm filming when I have time and my hair is wet and it's just a bad look today. I am back filming on my camcorder, which I'm super happy about. I have missed actually filming on it, which is weird. And my mum is feeling a little better. We're still living like we're in a cave with barely any light. She's on the mend, which meant that I can have a little bit more time away from her to work on the Sprinkle of Courage videos, which is great news. Today's video I am going to talk about judgment. Judgment is everywhere you go, no matter what. People are judging you, you are judging people. Judgment is just everywhere, you can't escape judgment. But one thing that I had the most reservations about saying to people with a mental illness is that I have one is because they judge the hell out of you. The stigma about mental illness is absolutely ridiculous. And when you first sort of say to people that you have a mental illness, you see like this little something happens to their face. And all of a sudden they get nervous. They don't know how to speak to you. Like the person in front of them just completely disappears. And they see you as something completely different. They get nervous. They are awkward around you. And they act quite afraid of you. When you first see it, it does hurt your feelings because you're still you. You're still a person you were 5 minutes ago when you were talking to them. It's just you've told them something new about themselves. And all of a sudden they're acting like you're some giant monster standing in front of them. It gets funny to a certain extent. When I've had to tell people, I still get nervous telling people that I have a mental illness. You wouldn't think considering I put it on the internet. But face to face telling somebody that you have a mental illness is terrifying because you never know what reaction you're going to get. You're going to get the awkward nervousness but they try to still be friendly, or you get the people that try to sort of cut your conversation short and walk away. You never know what they're going to say, and it freaks me out, and I'm sure it freaks a few of you out as well. But I've had to deal with telling people now for a few years, and after a while you know when the reaction's coming. You see it in their eyes and their face, it all changes, and I have to keep a little giggle in because it's just funny to me that something is saying a sentence that has a mental illness in it. It's all of a sudden this big giant monster has been revealed, and the other person is terrified for a moment, and it's almost like you could see their brain trying to come up with a way to either act friendly or get away as fast as you can, and it's always awkward. I never wanted to post videos on YouTube. Never did I ever want to post videos on YouTube. I was nervous about the group in the first place when I was just blogging about it, because I knew that telling my story meant opening up a lot of wounds and telling people my personal experience and giving them my life to judge freely. I am just telling all these people to look at my life and judge away, and I somehow have to be okay with that. And when the idea was presented by a few of you to do YouTube videos, I was hell-bent on no, never ever am I going to put a YouTube video up, because it's just not something I am. I am very self-conscious, I have low self-esteem, I don't like myself, and putting yourself in camera and telling you guys everything is a hell of a lot harder than hiding behind your computer and writing about it. So I was very nervous, but I decided to do it because a lot of you guys wanted me to do it. You guys got to see that I was the girl you were reading about on my blogs, and I think that made it a lot more smoother, and the group grew on from the videos then because you lot trusted me a lot more, and there's more of that personal connection than whether I was just writing a blog about it. But writing a blog, the blog wasn't too much judgment. I never really got that much negative on the blog. It was when I started doing the YouTube videos, then came the judgment, and I was expecting it, you know. I'm not some stick figure, beautiful person that the world kind of wants to watch on YouTube, I guess. I am the complete opposite of that, and mental health isn't exactly a fun topic for people to watch or talk about. So I was expecting judgment, but I wasn't prepared for it. I thought I would be okay when the first negative comment came in. I thought I would be fine. But I wasn't. It was a bit of a blow, and when you have low self-esteem, having other people think you're worthless or pick out your flaws isn't exactly a self-confidence boost. And I was afraid to do the next few videos, and I think I have done a video on bullying and writing nasty comments, and I stopped doing YouTube videos for a few weeks because one comment, some person actually wrote on every single video that I had done a nasty comment, and they had written on the suicide video a comment about how I should have just done it and gone through with it and the world would have been a better place. And that hurt a lot, because that video was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I find it hard telling, doctors or therapists. My family hadn't even heard the whole story, and I was telling it to the world for whoever to watch, all in awareness of suicide awareness. And then to have someone write that comment, it just kicked me over the edge, because I was a mess after reliving all those feelings that made me want to commit suicide in the first place. And reading that comment made me fall apart. But a few of you guys stuck up for me, and that's what got me back into doing videos. Because you come to realise that even if you're not on making videos on YouTube or doing anything, if you're just living everyday life, people are going to judge you. You get judged for everything you do. You get judged if you're in a class at school and you're reading something out, or you're doing a presentation or a talk. People are judging you. If you're walking, people are judging you by your clothes, and it's not a very nice thing to have. Judgment isn't good, because there's the old saying is don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm sure you judge other people as well. I know that I have in the past. The one thing that I have found the hardest to do with in mental illness, despite all the work and the pain, is I hate having to be around other people once they find out that I have a mental illness, because I am like this disgusting monster that's appeared, and they don't know how to talk to me. They don't know how to be near me. It's like I'm a complete different stranger. Even if I've known them for years, it's like they've never seen me before. And that hurts, and that is all around the judgment and the stigma to do with mental illness, that we're either attention seeking. To be honest, I don't know why attention seeking is one of them, because for fellow people like me who have a mental illness, you would do anything to not have it. So I don't know why it would be considered attention seeking. Or we're freaks, and we're crazy, we're nuts, we're psychos, we're making it all up. There's this huge big stigma around having a mental illness, and I hate it. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's unnecessary. And I honestly think it's just because no one has a clue what it is. I know that I didn't really know a lot about mental illness before I got one. I mean, I knew there was depression and all different types of it, but I didn't really understand it. And that's because you're never taught it. You're never taught, well, at least I never got taught it in my school. You're taught about all these physical illnesses and what they do and causes and symptoms and things, but you're never taught anything to do with a mental illness. And it sucks, because if you have a physical illness that is quite serious, or even if you've broken your leg, people are wanting to know, wishing you get well soon, or offering to help you if you need anything, and being very, very caring. But you mention a mental illness, is the complete opposite. They want to vanish from your life. They want to stay far away as possible. Even if they remain friends with you, they never initiate a conversation about that. And to me, that's wrong. Having a physical illness is an illness. Having a mental illness is an illness. They shouldn't be treated differently just because one's psychological and one's physical. So to me, if there was one thing in the world that I could help change, is the stigma and the judgment around mental illness. And guys, if you're finding it hard to tell people that you have a mental illness and you're worried about what they're going to do, just remember that there is so many people like you I have had to tell people for years that I have a mental illness, and I still feel sick when I know that I have to tell it, or even if I'm caught by surprise and have to tell it, I feel physically sick. We're all in the same boat. We hate the idea of having to tell people. But just remember, if they have a negative reaction, it's not your fault, it's just what the world has perceived it as. You're still as strong and courageous as you once were before they found out. They just don't know how to handle it because they've never really known about it. That's why I believe that we need to help raise awareness, because having a mental illness is hard as it is. You don't need the added pressure of what everyone's going to think about you added onto that. You need the support, and you need to know that people are going to be kind about it and not going to make fun of you for it. So that's all from me this week. I want to thank you guys for watching and continuing to watch as the group grows. It's truly been amazing to be a part of it. I promise I am putting a blog up this week because I love writing. I've always loved to write. I wrote in my spare time, but lately I've just lost that spark and I want to get it back. So look out for a blog this week, and if you want to see what I'm up to during the week, then check out all the links down below. And a few of you have wondered about Snapchat, and I'll put that down below too. So thanks guys, see you soon.